Across the vast forests of North America, from Alaska and Canada to parts of the northern and western United States, lives an animal that rarely needs to run from danger. It does not possess the speed of a deer, the strength of a bear, or the teeth of a wolf. Instead, it carries its protection everywhere it goes. This is the North American porcupine, Erethizon dorsatum, one of the largest rodents on the continent and one of the most unusual mammals living in its forests. At first sight, the porcupine may appear slow and vulnerable. Its body is heavy, its legs are short, and its movements across the ground are often deliberate and unhurried. An adult can weigh several kilograms, and beneath its coarse dark fur, thousands of modified hairs transformed into sharp quills. These quills are its greatest defense. Contrary to a famous myth, a porcupine cannot shoot its quills through the air. Instead, when a predator touches or bites the animal, the quills detach easily and can become embedded in the attacker's skin. Each quill is equipped with microscopic structures that make it difficult and painful to remove. For many predators, one encounter with a porcupine is enough to remember the lesson.
The porcupine itself does not want to fight. When threatened, it usually tries to warn its enemy first. It may raise its quills, turn its back toward the danger, and position its heavily armed tail between itself and the predator. If the warning is ignored, the porcupine can strike rapidly with its tail. The quills do the rest. Even large predators must be cautious. Coyotes, wolves, mountain lions, bobcats, and other carnivores may encounter porcupines, but attacking one directly can be extremely risky. Some experienced predators learn to attack the face or vulnerable underside, avoiding the dense armor covering the back and tail. But for most animals, there are easier meals elsewhere in the forest. Defense, however, is only one part of the porcupine's extraordinary life. The North American porcupine is also an excellent climber. Its strong curved claws allow it to climb tree trunks with surprising confidence. During much of the year, trees provide both food and protection. In spring and summer, porcupines may feed on leaves, grasses, flowers, herbs, and other vegetation. They can also eat twigs and tender shoots. As winter approaches and green vegetation becomes more difficult to find, their diet changes. Bark becomes extremely important.
A porcupine can sit on a branch and slowly strip away the outer bark to reach the nutritious inner layers underneath. Pine, spruce, fir, maple, and many other trees may become feeding sites depending on the region. Signs of a porcupine are often easier to find than the animal itself. A tree with large areas of bark removed may reveal that a porcupine has been feeding there. During cold winter nights, when snow covers the ground and other food has disappeared, this ability to survive on bark can become essential. The porcupine's front teeth never stop growing. Like other rodents, it must constantly wear them down. Biting and chewing tough plant material keeps the incisors at a functional length. But the porcupine faces another unusual nutritional challenge. Its body has a strong need for salt. This can sometimes bring it surprisingly close to people. Porcupines may chew wooden structures, tools, vehicle components, or other objects that contain traces of salt from human hands or from winter road treatments. A remote cabin can suddenly become very interesting to a hungry porcupine. In the wild, however, mineral-rich soil, aquatic vegetation, and natural sources of sodium help satisfy this need. Although porcupines spend significant time in trees, they must eventually return to the ground. Their large feet and powerful claws help them move across rough terrain, but they are not built for speed. Their strategy is completely different. Instead of escaping quickly, they depend on making themselves too dangerous to attack. Even their coloration helps. Dark brown, black and gray fur allows them to disappear surprisingly well among tree trunks, rocks and forest shadows. During daylight hours, a porcupine may rest inside a hollow tree, beneath a fallen log, inside a rocky shelter, or among dense vegetation.
At night, it becomes more active. The forest becomes quieter, predators begin moving, and the porcupine slowly leaves its shelter to feed. Its sense of smell is important. Its eyesight is relatively limited, but it does not need to see the forest in perfect detail. It follows familiar routes, investigates vegetation, and searches for food in areas it already knows. Despite their armored appearance, porcupines are generally peaceful animals. Most of their lives are spent alone. For much of the year, adults do not form large social groups. But during the breeding season, their solitary world changes. Males begin searching for females and may compete with other males for access to a mate. These encounters can involve vocalizations, displays, and occasionally physical conflict. For an animal covered in quills, mating requires remarkable care. The female controls whether the male is allowed to approach. Once mating has occurred, one of the most extraordinary aspects of porcupine reproduction begins.
The pregnancy is unusually long for a rodent. After roughly 7 months, the female normally gives birth to a single baby. The newborn is called a porcupette. Unlike the helpless newborns of many rodents, a porcupette enters the world surprisingly well developed. Its eyes are open, its body is already covered with quills. Fortunately for the mother, those quills are soft at birth. They begin hardening soon afterward. Within a relatively short time, the young porcupine can move around and begin exploring its environment. The mother provides milk and protection while the young animal gradually learns which plants to eat, where to hide, and how to climb. Climbing is essential. A young porcupine must learn to move safely through branches while carrying a body that is heavier and less agile than that of a squirrel. A fall from a tree can be dangerous, yet porcupines are surprisingly capable climbers. Their claws grip bark strongly, and the rough surface of their feet helps maintain contact with the trunk. The tail also provides support while climbing. Still, accidents happen. Porcupines sometimes fall from trees, especially while reaching for food on narrow branches.
Their bodies have evolved to survive a difficult life among trunks and rocks. But their greatest protection remains their quills. Those quills are modified hairs made from keratin, the same basic material found in human hair and fingernails. A single porcupine can carry tens of thousands of them. They are not poisonous. They do not contain venom. Their power comes entirely from their structure. Once embedded in the skin of an attacker, they can cause serious injury and infection if they are not removed. This has made the porcupine one of the rare prey animals capable of seriously injuring predators much larger than itself. But the porcupine is not invincible. One predator in particular has developed a reputation for successfully hunting it. The fisher, a powerful member of the weasel family, can repeatedly attack the porcupine's vulnerable face, forcing it to expose areas that are not protected by dense quills.
Patience can eventually overcome the porcupine's armor. This relationship is a perfect example of evolution's constant competition. One animal develops stronger defenses. Another develops a better strategy for defeating them. Most days, however, the porcupine's life is far less dramatic. It climbs, it feeds, it rests, it searches for minerals, it moves quietly through the forest. During winter, snow may cover everything around it. Temperatures can fall far below freezing. The porcupine does not truly hibernate. Instead, it remains active throughout the winter, although it may spend more time sheltered during extreme weather. Trees become its winter pantry. Bark and evergreen needles allow it to survive when much of the forest appears completely empty of food. Then spring returns. Snow melts. Fresh plants emerge.
The porcupine leaves its winter feeding sites and once again finds a greater variety of vegetation. A mother may be moving through the forest with her growing young nearby. The porcupette follows, learning the landscape that may become its territory. One day it will leave its mother. It will live mostly alone. It will climb the same forests. And it will carry the same extraordinary armor that has protected generations before it. The North American porcupine does not need to dominate the forest. It does not chase its enemies. It does not hunt other animals. It simply survives. Slowly, quietly. Protected by thousands of specialized quills, and by an evolutionary strategy that tells every predator the same thing. There may be easier prey somewhere else. As evening returns to the northern forest, a dark figure begins climbing another tree. Its claws grip the bark. Its heavy body rises slowly from the ground. The forest grows darker beneath it. And among the branches, the North American porcupine continues a life that has changed remarkably little for thousands of generations. Erethizon dorsatum. The quiet climber, the armored rodent of North America, and one of nature's clearest examples that sometimes the best defense is not running away, it is making sure nothing wants to follow.